they found a book of spells written by Egyptian priests in the 7th century AD. That's 400 years after Christianity took over Egypt. And the spells? They called on Jesus and ancient gods at the same time. So wait, how was pagan magic still alive in Christian Egypt? Why did monks, bishops, and even emperors lose sleep over it? And what made these old Egyptian spells so powerful that the church couldn't kill them? In 4th century Egypt, a man goes to see a magician. The magician unrolls a long papyrus covered in spells. Some promise love, others heal or curse. One spell says to draw Typhon on a shell with myrrh ink, toss it in the bathhouse fire, and call a lover's name until she burns with desire. That was everyday Egyptian magic in the Christian age, rituals meant to twist fate. The Greek magical papyri show this strange world. Spells mix Greek, Egyptian, and bits of nonsense that were thought to be divine words. They call on Selene, Thoth, and nameless spirits. Some use blood, wax dolls, or thin metal sheets carved with charms. Each one follows a recipe. Do this, say that, then expect results. These spells were practical tools. They fixed love troubles, punished rivals, or cured sickness. People copied them for centuries, from the 1st to the 7th AD, quietly keeping them alive. Even after the old gods died out, the magic stayed. Christians saw it as dangerous. To them, it was the same dark art used by Pharaoh's priests. Church leaders banned it, calling it demonic. But to see why, we have to look closer at how it actually worked. You see, in a 5th century Egyptian home, you might find a small spell book. One called the Handbook of Ritual Power listed 27 spells for daily problems such as money, health, love, or spirits that wouldn't leave you alone. One charm said to hammer 2 nails into a rival's doorway to subdue him. It was a kind of do-it-yourself curse manual. But yes, magic filled the gaps of life. Love spells forced affection by tormenting the target. Healing charms used Psalm 91 or bits of the Gospel as protection. One Coptic spell asked Jesus to cure black jaundice. A woman named Ioannia once wore a Greek papyrus amulet with Bible verses to stop her chills. It quoted John 1:1, listed Mary and the archangels, and called on saints, half prayer, half spell. To most people, there was no conflict. Magic worked when faith didn't. You could pray on Sunday and use a charm on Monday. Some spells even mixed gods. Aphrodite for love, Christ for healing. It was all about getting results. When crops failed, when lovers drifted, when fever hit, people turned to what worked. And in Egypt, that often meant a bit of magic. By the 4th century AD, Christianity had the backing of Rome. Church leaders and emperors now called magic dangerous and demonic. The Council of Laodicea, around 364 AD, banned priests from making or wearing amulets. It said they were chains for their own souls. That one rule said a lot. Priests were making charms, and the church saw them as deadly to the soul. Rome had already treated magic as a crime. The laws later gathered in the Theodosian Code made that official. And in the year 321, Emperor Constantine banned private diviners. One order warned, "No haruspex shall enter a private home. If he does, he shall be burned to death, and the host banished." Harsh, yes, but it showed how seriously emperors took it. They feared magic as power, something that could threaten the throne. Christian emperors went even further. They tied magic to heresy and old religion. The aforementioned Theodosian Code grouped magicians, astrologers, and all similar criminals together, with death as the punishment. By the late 4th century, sacrifices, temple rites, and witchcraft were all banned alike. From Egypt to Antioch, carrying a spell or charm could ruin your life. Bishops like John Chrysostom and Cyril of Alexandria warned that turning to magic meant consorting with Satan. But the bans didn't work. Every new law or sermon only proved the same thing. People kept doing it. Even monks and priests still used charms when life got rough. Behind all the fear was a simple truth. Old habits die hard. Soon, Egypt became the front line in a strange war. Monks against magicians, bishops against local charmers. It was faith against fear, and it lasted for centuries. In late antiquity, Egypt was caught between saints and sorcerers. The desert was full of monks, but also of magic. Their stories read like action tales, demons, curses, and a lot of shouting. Saint Anthony the Great, around 300 AD, was famous for fighting both. He faced down demons and mocked pagan magicians with prayer alone. In his biography by Athanasius, Anthony sneers, "Where the sign of the cross is, magic is weak. Where are your Egyptian charms now?" It's a jab and a confession in one. Magic had once worked, but not anymore, at least not for him. Anthony said spells drew power from demons. Christ's name, he claimed, drove them out. In one story, he even performs an exorcism in front of pagan spectators after their magicians fail. They call on spirits. He just makes the sign of the cross. Simple, effective, and dramatic. Soon, monks became Egypt's main witch hunters. Ordinary people still went to charm makers and healers, so the monks made it their job to stop them. One of the loudest voices was Shanut of Atripe, a tough abbot from Upper Egypt. He led raids on homes that held evil books. In one case, he stormed the mansion of a rich man named Gesios and burned his scrolls. Afterward, Shanut bragged that God punished Gesios for his blasphemy. Shanut preached that magic was the devil's trade. Wearing a charm or mumbling a spell, he said, was treason against Christ. In one sermon, he mocked the old gods, asking, "Where is Zeus or his son Ares? Show me how they save you now." He didn't wait for an answer. To monks like Anthony and Shanut, magic was competition. A villager could visit a monk for prayer or a wise woman for a charm. The monks drew a line, however. One side was God and the other was the devil. Some took it further, smashing idols, burning amulets, and roaming the land as holy enforcers. They believed magic worked, but only through demons, and that belief made their fights real. They battled poisoners, challenged weather workers, and proved, at least to themselves, that Christ's power beat any spell. But the fact that these fights kept happening said something else. Egyptian magic was still alive, and it wasn't going quietly. People held on to magic because they thought it worked. Life in late antique Egypt was rough. There was disease, famine, and danger was never far away. So, spells and amulets gave comfort when the church could not. So, people mixed old Egyptian rites with the new Christian faith. It became a blend of both worlds. The Coptic Handbook of Ritual Power calls on Jesus and Bible figures, but also strange Gnostic names. One spell says, Seth, Seth, the living Christ. Another praises Bakhtiotha, Lord over the 49 serpents. Scholars think the book came from the Sethians, a banned sect that mixed scripture with secret law. It stood between two worlds, orthodox and mystical. Objects tell the same story. Besides the amulets that we spoke of earlier, there was also a 6th century curse tablet from Antioch that calls on Yahweh, Christ, Helios, and Thoth all at once. Clay figures and papyri swap out old names for new ones as well. One charm against thieves calls on Horus and Archangel Michael together, which was a strange but practical partnership. Truly, people were cautious. They kept their old spells but added Jesus, Mary, or a few saints. Isis quietly became Mary. Khonsu turned into Raphael. The chant stayed the same, only the names changed. It made old magic look safe under Christian rule. Bishops weren't fooled. They saw these Christian amulets as the same pagan charms, just dressed up. One clear example is a 6th century papyrus in Vienna. It's a Coptic charm against nightmares. It calls on the Trinity and saints, then adds Horus, who vanquished the demons of the night. Whoever used it saw no problem, just extra protection. If Horus once guarded children, why not let him stand beside Jesus? Despite bans, blended magic stayed alive. Ordinary believers saw no harm in it. Some priests even blessed cross-shaped amulets for crops, taking the place of old pagan charms. The tools changed, but the goal stayed the same: protection. Over time, the old magic was absorbed into relics, holy water, and processions. Yet, in the villages of Egypt, signs of ancient spells lasted for centuries. And so, in the end, by the 7th century, Egyptian magic wore a Christian face. The names changed, but the structure stayed the same. The old gods left, yet their rituals didn't. The church fought magic, but in doing so, it kept it alive. Prayer became spell, saint replaced spirit, and the magicians didn't disappear. Not at all. They just got promoted to monks and healers. In Nile villages, mothers still whispered charms over sick children. Priests still traced crosses on doorways. The old power and the new faith had learned to share the same breath.